Hi, and welcome back to the channel. We are continuing Attack on Titan. But before we jump into part 2 of season 3, we're gonna do one more OVA, Lost Girls part 3. I know it's not called that technically, but it's the third Lost Girls. And it's not gonna continue the whole Annie thing, it seems like. We're gonna be spending time with another character. I think he might be Mikasa.
I think that's what I heard.
Yeah, same. But we are, of course, quite excited about continuing the journey in general. Can't wait to see what's going to happen, and can't wait to see like how this one is going to kind of further the story in its own way, which is the thing I like. All of the OVAs have done so far. Like they've brought a lot to just the characters alone, and yeah, I enjoy them at least. And this is the last one we're going to be watching before it's just full throttle with like the rest of the series, I believe.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Are you ready?
Yes.
Or did you want to say something before we started?
No, I'm just very full. So my stomach is full.
Yes. Oh, okay. Got
and
it.
everything is pushing together down there. So yeah.
Fair enough. All right. Let's do it. And you can, of course, always check out our full-length reactions where you can sync up the footage with your own copy of the episode. We also have early reactions for Attack on Titan at the moment, where we are several episodes ahead. It's all over on Patreon, and the link is down in the description below. Here we go. Oh, okay.
Okay.
So, I was just about to ask, like, where are we time-wise inside of the story? Right before they left. Okay. Seems like this is actually the perfect time to watch this one.
また私たちを置いてどこか遠くへ行ってしまうのかもしれない。でも私にはそれを止めることができない。
Ugh.
All right.
Oh, that's so creepy.
Praying mantis?
Yeah.
子供はどうやったらできるの？さあ、お父さんに聞いてみなさい。ねえ、お父さん。
お父さんもよく知らないんだ。もうじきイェーガー先生が来る頃だから。
But yeah, we've already seen that, right? Yeah. And now we're getting this again. Oh, they're really jumping around.
The pomegranate.
もし
Pomegranate?
こんな現実が嫌ならもう一度やり直してみるといい。しかしそれでもあなたはエレンの死を止めることはできない。なぜならエレンは。
Oh. Alternate reality here? Like what would have happened if...
先生。
Yeah.
どうも失礼します。
Okay.
こんにちは。
これは息子のエレン。君と同じ9歳だ。一人しか友達がいなくてね。仲良くしてやってくれるかな。
はい。
Okay. So this is more of a what if scenario?
Perhaps.
Lost in the cruel world.
外にいる巨人どもをぶっ殺すために訓練しなきゃならない。お前のお父さんは狩りをして、お母さんは野菜を作るんだろう。お前は何をするんだ？
Become the most badass fighter. Or maybe not in this reality. Titan? Oh. Wow.
Oh, they got to the guys that were.
Oh, that's what happened to those guys. Is that awakening still
Yes.
gonna...
Yes.
Oh,
Or what?
maybe they sort of like smelled it or sensed.
Sensed it?
Yeah.
The
それからエレンは5日に一度のイエーガー先生の往診に毎回ついてくるようになった。エレンは気が向くと志願しなくでの暮らしぶりやアルミンのことを話してくれた。
アルミンは頭がいいんだ。たくさん本を読むからいろんなことを知ってる。
子供がどうやってできるかも知
Oh
ってるかな。
no.
は
Huh?
そんなの俺でも知ってるぞ。真夜中に大きな鳥が赤ん坊を運んできて。
No. Oh,
That old
sweet
fairy tale.
summer child.
Yeah.
アルミンはいろんなことをたくさん知
Oh,
ってる。
that's how they meet Alan.
外の世界のことを教えてくれたのもアルミンなんだ。俺はいつかアルミンと一緒に外の世界に行く。それが俺の夢だ。
どうしたのそれ。
Oh. Yeah, Mikasa's not there to protect him in this timeline.
炎の水、氷の大地、砂の雪原。アルミンはいずれ人類は壁の外に行くべきだって言った。そしたら異端者だって言われた。ここはそういう世界なんだ。あいつらは変われることに慣れきった腰抜けだ。
Got that spunk.
これをイエーガー先生に。
次の往診の時に一緒に帰ってくればいいから。
エレンと思いっきり遊んでおいで。
おい、早く行こうぜ。調査兵団が帰ってきたんだ。
This is so interesting. Like, I'm so curious about like why they chose to tell us this alternate, like, what if story and how it's gonna connect.
本当に調査兵団に入るの？
ああ、
これじゃあ俺らのせいで奴らに餌をやって太らせてるようなもんだな。
Oh, yeah.
調査兵団をバカにすんだ。
おいおい、ガキ相手に。
ほら、
She can't do anything.
どれくらい寝てた？
長い時間じゃない。
The dollars you made him.
Fairies. Aaron's not with him.
妊娠中毒症のようです。家を移しましょう。私の家の近くに万が一のことを考えると、それが一番かと。
What's that?
It's. I can't tell. She's basically getting seizures. And then she's in risk of dying. When she gives birth.
調査兵団がなくなったんだ。
Oh?
壁外調査の結果が得られないから
Oh,
潰された。
Oh.
shit.
扉も塗り固められた。もう誰も外へは出られない。
じゃあもう外の世界には。
俺はアルミンと気球で外の世界に
Oh,
行くことにした。
no.
Don't follow in your parents' footsteps.
Yeah. We don't know if they've done that in this timeline, but yeah. Hmm.
あそこの内門から出て少し歩くと森がある。3日後の夜、そこで待ってる。その時返せよ。
Still gives her the scarf, wrapping it around her in the exact same way.
Some things never change.
Oh, what?
希代の催眠術師、かの巧妙なる鏡男がこれより催眠術を
Not
披露
on
いたし
some
ますぞ。
random girl. What
こ
the
の
fuck?
純粋無垢でいたいけな少女を見事。
What the hell?
What? How about don't do that?
私がこの手を離したとして、お嬢ちゃんはどこへ行くつもりだい？
None of your fucking business.
会いに行くんです。
君に催眠術をかけて私を殺させることもできるが、それには少々時間がかかる。それは困るんだろう？
People aren't even fucking paying attention. What's going on? This is so random. Who is this guy?
君は 自ら望んでここに迷い込んだ。エレンの死を受け入れることができず、自ら作り出した。この世界にね。しかしどのような世界であろうとも、あなたにはエレンの死を止めることができない。
It's her. That's why it's a mirror.
The Mirror Man.
仕方ないでしょう。世界は残酷なんだから。だったらこんな世界。
There it is.
And there that
and
is.
there. Nope.
Oh, what?
Oh.
この通り、刃が引っ込むようにできておるのです。この少女が私を刺したという事実は、巨人でも動かしがたい事実であります。
Whoa, what the...
ありがとうございます。ありがとうございます。
Huh. They're gone already. I guess. Nope.
Oh no, what happened?
エレンはごめんミカさん、
Hmm.
全部僕のせいだ。気球はそのまま壁に。僕は何もできなかった。
That'll snap her out of it.
そして目が覚めた時、私はエレンの身に起こったことを一つの厳然とした事実として受け入れた。エレンはきっとウォールマリアを取り戻し、一匹残らず巨人を駆逐して、そして海を目にするのだろう。それでもいい。エレンがどこへ行こうと、私はエレンのそばにいたい。私が願うのはただそれだけだ。ねえエレン。
Okay.
Okay.
Interesting little look into Mikasa's psyche, I guess, and how she kind of processed Aaron's death the first time around, and her commitment to Aaron, which is strong as ever. I'm a bit curious though if there's like, because sometimes it seems like there's nothing else to her and her character than just being devoted to Aaron. She doesn't really have a lot of agency herself some of the time, and this one kind of just supported that a little bit, maybe. But still interesting to see, definitely. But that was the third one of these Lost Girls OVAs about Mikasa, of course, and yeah, as I just said, like, yeah, it's interesting to see, and I'm always a sucker for these like what if scenarios, even if it was just a figment of her, like what's going on in her own mind and her processing, as I said, like Aaron's death and then coming up with this alternate world inside of her head. It's still cool to see like what would have happened if her parents didn't die, and like it seemed like that had a lot of consequences, of course, because it's a ripple effect, and the scouts got like disbanded in that world, and they closed the gates completely. So it seems like, you know, overall the world is better off with the version of the reality we have now, where yes, they've gone through a lot of horrible stuff, but it has made it so that they can at least move forward, and humanity and trying to learn the truth and all these revelations, whereas in this other timeline those things wouldn't have happened.
No, but I also think because there was like she put up roadblocks, because it's definitely her version of
version of the world.
Yeah, so she put up roadblocks for things to not happen, and she wouldn't lose him in the same way, or at least she thought she could protect them from all this, like the bad. So first off, protect them from the intruders that end up killing Mikasa's family, and then to help stop the whole breaking down the walls thing, they actually closed the gates off so they couldn't break the gates.
Oh yeah.
So I think that's how she, in her mind, prevented the fall of the
Shiganshina.
But then
he still died.
Yeah, and it's like even in her alternate reality,
where she's doing everything she can to
not.
Yeah.
She cannot save him.
Yes, and that in the end snapped her out of it.
Yeah, and I think it's a good thing for her to, if not now, then at some point realize that she cannot always save Eren.
Yeah, like she can't control the course of events and him, his life, what he's going to do, can't always be there for him to protect him. And yeah, just trying to cope with that and coming to that realization back then when she thought Eren just died right at the beginning of season 1, and just coming to terms with that. And she actually managed to do that right before he then showed up again as a Titan. But it shows at least that she's capable of letting Eren go in her mind.
Yeah. And I don't know if it's foreshadowing or just like
I'll lose him again.
or a step in another direction, in a way that she might actually evolve as a person, develop outside of Eren, and actually create her own personality and destiny, and not let everything revolve around Eren and protecting him and everything.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think a lot of us need to, at some point at least, well, they're still kids, so they shouldn't really be thinking about this yet, right? But we should all at some point, if you have someone we love, either family, friends, a significant other, at some point we will have to, like, we can't protect them forever. We can't protect them against themselves. We can't protect them against
the entire world.
The entire world, their own bodies, stuff like that. And at some point we just have to accept that they will die at some point.
Yeah.
And we might not be there to protect them from that.
Exactly. And it's forgo all attachments almost, or not that you have to do that, but it's like there's some of that in there. And like I know I do this once in a while compared to something Star Wars related, but there is that Jedi element, of like, that is why the old Jedi teachings, why you shouldn't have these attachments, is because it can control you and your life in a way that you yourself like kind of lose agency in a way, and it's dangerous, and it'll lead to pain and suffering, death, all that shit. So yeah, but you're right. Like when you grow up as a person, of course, there's absolutely nothing wrong with being attached to people and
absolutely
others, and because like we are very much attached to each other. Yes, but of course I can see like the good lesson in there with still not letting, like, if you then lose the someone or something that you are so attached to, that doesn't mean that that's the end of your life in a way, and train yourself to maybe let go of that, or be able to let go of it if the time comes, or something like that.
Or I think a big thing for Mikasa and, well, also Armin, but a big thing for both of them is that they hold themselves accountable for not being able to save Eren. And I think a lot of people, having dealt with loss, have survivor's guilt, and it's called survivor's guilt.
Yeah. And
they feel like, if I just could have done something.
Exactly.
But a huge part of healing from sorrow, at least that's what I've heard, is to actually come to terms with, or at least, come to terms with their death, but also come to terms with, well, it's not your fault.
Yes.
And you should not feel guilt about this. It's okay to mourn them. Of course it's okay to mourn them. But unless you killed the person, you should not feel any guilt about them dying.
Yes.
And I think it's also a good at least like a good for Mikasa is a good precaution in a way. Precaution, I don't know, self-preservation thing maybe. And it's just like, well, you should be ready at all times, because he is, at this point we also know that he is so important for like everything. Yes. And people want to eat him. they want to eat him because they want his powers, and that's how they get the powers. So that's like, he's always at risk. So I think it's also a good lesson for her to, you know, at least like preemptively kind of
get used to that
get idea. Used to the idea that she might lose him or not be able to protect him all the way, even though she's I know she's gonna do her darndest to actually,
definitely, but as you said, in the end she's not always gonna be able to sort of be there and follow him all the way, and he's gonna keep going and going until he has kind of fulfilled his purpose in life, or in this story. And that is something that she will have to get used to, again, with the attachment. I think what you said about the survivor's guilt and blaming yourself, that's a big part of the whole, what I also mentioned with attachments. And you can go down a sort of a wrong path, and that is definitely a wrong path as well, that can lead to suffering if you full on blame yourself and you have that survivor's guilt when and if you lose someone. So it makes sense, and it is again a very core human thing that we're dealing with here. So in that sense, I think they did a really good job just sort of showing us that psyche. And I mentioned during the episode that, I'm curious, like why they're doing this, why they're telling us this story, this sort of what if story. And then shortly thereafter, it became quite apparent that was why. It was, you know, Mikasa, everything we just talked about, that was kind of what they were trying to do with this one.
And I'm sorry, I just realized, I remembered, like, you asked what pre-eclampsia is, or just eclampsia?
Yeah. During the
because we learned that Mikasa's mother had pre-eclampsia, and it's a thing that actually shows up before the birth, or like during the pregnancy. And
sorry,
if I remember correctly, it's like your blood pressure is just spiking, and you have very high blood pressure.
Okay.
And when you get closer to birth, and there's like a bigger strain on your body, at some point during birth, you will go into having like seizures and everything.
Okay,
and those seizures and those seizures can actually lead to death. Like, and it's something that we are very aware of now in our day and age, but it's something like there's still people have a tendency to either not know or just forget that people giving birth is actually like they're actually still in risk, even though we have like a very good health system and everything now. Like people are still in risk of dying.
Not nearly as many people are dying from giving birth now as it used to be, but there is still that inherent risk with doing it.
Yes, and preeclampsia is one of them, because as I said, you get into seizures, and if you don't get that treated beforehand, it might get really ugly. Yeah. So and the reason why I actually know this is because in another series, there's a character getting who has eclampsia, and ends up dying from it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sucks.
Downton Abbey. So I'm sorry, spoiler alert.
Okay. Yeah. I bet you guys weren't expecting Downton Abbey inside of these reactions, but
very sad. Yeah, and so it's something for someone going through as soon as you hear about it, it's something that is definitely a freaky case, and I think it's 1 to 5%. I think of pregnant, or it's only 1%. I can't remember. But it's fairly low, but it's still a risk that you get eclampsia or pre-eclampsia. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Now, after this one, we're ready to jump into season 3, part 2. And I also mentioned it. seemed like it was the perfect spot for this one.
Yeah,
because it actually sort of picked up right when we left off at the ending of part 1 of season 3, right before they left, and they were standing up there on the walls, and they just had that whole conversation after the meat party there. And now, as I said, we're then ready to jump into part 2 of season 3. So thank you for the very good viewing order there, Lathea. You always see Lathea in the comments at the very top with the, our
it's a very
moderator.
special mod. Yeah.
Thank you as always for that. And I think then that's pretty much gonna do it, right? Yes. Yep. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you as soon as possible. Bye.
Bye.